All right, here we go. We dig into the papers and beyond and bring you the latest that you need to know. Joining us via Zoom, we have Emmanuel Wilson, Chief Crusader for the Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana. He joins this conversation. Of course, he's been a national campaign manager for the PNC as well. We also have in the studio Manuel Corante, my colleague. Good morning, Manuel.
Good morning, Ben. How are you doing?
Did I cite you using lip gloss right before coming on air?
Oh, it's part of the makeup.
Was that you?
It's part of the makeup
Lip gloss?
Yeah, part of the makeup regimen. Anybody who knows makeup knows.
To what end? After Valentine's Day, to what end?
Anybody who knows makeup knows that lip gloss is part of the makeup regimen.
All right, that was just a lighter note on which to start the conversation. Mr. Wilson, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my brother. It's a pleasure joining you.
Great. Thank you so much. So we're going to be digging into the papers from the studio, and we take your input as well. Let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Retooling TVET. 57 schools witness upgrading obsolete equipment replaced. That is the banner headline. There's also a minerals investment fund to pump $500 million into small-scale mining. And then Baka Vomawa remanded over treason felony. Let's quickly get into that story on page 13. And it says, the lead convener of the Fix the Country movement, Oliver Mause Baka Vomawa, has been remanded into police custody for 2 weeks on a charge of treason felony, an offense that carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Baka Vomawa, who appeared before the Ashaiman District Court yesterday, was denied bail after an application by his legal team. And the accused, a lawyer by profession, is facing trial for allegedly threatening to stage a coup if the electronic levy bill is passed into law. Those are some brief details that you ought to know about this developing story. But still a lot of concerns. In the course of the news, you saw us bring you footage about some people who feel he's been victimized, that, hey, was he really going to organize a coup? What is the proper meaning of a coup? I mean, do you know that, yes, there's a coup d'etat, and of course we shorten it as coup, but in some respects the word coup can be used to mean so many things. Even if you have a good deal, you know, a good bargain, it's a bit of a coup. But of course in the context that it is used, and saying of course that useless army, and it's not just that post, there are things that are written beneath, that is what also creates another sort of
and the state prosecutor who actually was in court yesterday stated that there had been an initial complaint at the Ashaiman police station which had warranted some sort of surveillance, and so this surveillance was mounted a couple of days ahead of his arrest, and so it's not just about that specific post that we're seeing, but a couple of others in a sort of a trajectory really of his activities and so on and so forth. And that's what led to his arrest. As to whether or not those are enough grounds for him to be sentenced for the charge that he's been giving, that's another thing. My concern is especially is with the 48-hour rule that was breached.
And they've given some explanation for that.
The explanation
saying
was
that
that
the
they
court
didn't
couldn't
get a
sit
court.
on Sunday. They didn't have
get a court.
A court or a justice willing to sit on Sunday. Of course, no assignment had been made, and that was it. But reason enough, once we
absolutely not.
We say that we have a system where even over the weekends, as required, it ought to sit. It means that we are breaching the rights of individuals
that were assigned for some of these, sit-ins and all of that. So, I mean, that is in no way admissible. I am not enthused in the least about the handling of his arrest.
Let me quickly get the take of Emmanuel Wilson. Emmanuel, I don't know what you think about the entire arrest, handling, intervention by national security in respect of the Baka Vomawa issue. And mind you, initially, he was thinking of offensive conduct, only for it, like Akoto Ampao says, in bad faith, not my words, Akoto Ampao's words, to be now turned to treason felony. And that, mind you, has the penalty if to the point of what? Life imprisonment. That is the highest that it can be given. What do you make of that entire development?
Well, so, I mean, from the onset, it must be established that Ghana is a democratic country. What it means is that we live under the rules and regulations that we've all accepted to have. And inside this rules and regulation is what we call freedom of speech. And freedom of speech clearly can come in different ways. It can be orally submitted. It can be done in a form of publication. But having said this, you must also acknowledge that this freedom of speech comes with its own obligations. And there are limitations surrounding this freedom of speech. So it is not freedom as in free in its entirety, but it comes with limitations. The other day, it came to my attention what Oliver published. I'm sure he did that through his Facebook page or so, but I picked it from one of the online media publications. And truth be told, when I read it, I was taken aback. I was really taken aback, particularly having this statement coming from someone with a legal background. I was taken aback. And just like you indicated, if it was just about the usage of the word coup, I am sure there wouldn't have been so much an issue. But the content in which the coup was expressed, it really gives meaning to the word coup per the content in which it was used.
Are you suggesting that from where you sit, you actually felt that Oliver was suggesting he would actually foment a coup d'etat?
From where I sit, I wouldn't really be able to read absolute meaning into Oliver's statements, in that I don't really know the intention behind what he said, and he's the only person who can do that. But on the surface of it, it brings about a lot of ambiguity. Different meanings can be attributed to the statement. And yes, someone may attribute a meaning of, well, the coup being used is being used in a different content, but not in the coup d'etat sense that we know. Others can also say the content in which the word coup was used suggests strongly that it was used with coup d'etat in mind. So the statement itself provides some ambiguous surrounding, and it has allowed people to read so many meanings into it. I wouldn't be able to give specific meaning into it, but from where I sit, what I would rather say is that I would have wished such a statement wouldn't have come. I would have really wished that such a statement wouldn't have come.
Looking at the response that we've had so far, he's being picked up by national security at the airport, the manner he's been handled, and he's embarked on some hunger strike of sorts, taking fluids but not eating proper food in protest of what has been done to him. And now the charge of treason felony. Probably the worst you can get in our country, and a lifetime jail, term hanging around his neck as we watch this proceed. Do you feel he's being fairly dealt with? We had the likes of Koku Ajidoho say certain things in the past, and he's still walking a free man. Some, and these are not my words, get that clearly. Some people even point to the fact that some of those supporting Bakavomao point to the fact that we've had presidents even use the likes of all die be die and all of that, and today they are president. Is he being treated fairly?
I agree perfectly, and I was going to come to that. So in as much as I have condemned the statement that came from him and would have wished he wouldn't have made such statement, the other part has to do with the security apparatus. I think the manner in which the security went about or is going about this process gives so much doubt, leaves a lot of doubt in the minds of people. It is suggestive strongly that the security, particularly the police and the national security, are becoming selective when it comes to matters of this nature. You made mention of Kwekwanyido, clearly so, made mention of some leading persons, including the sitting president, who made a clear statement of all die be die. And that all die be die, just like Oliver's statement, can also be interpreted in different ways. And so I would have wished that the security would have not positioned itself as being seen as an institution that selects who to attack or who to arrest and who not to arrest. Another example, and this was just yesterday, on one of the sister stations, if you permit me to mention, Hot FM, my attention was brought to a statement made by a gentleman. I'm sure he belongs to the MPP or so. I'm sure his name is Abronye or something. And this is a person who sat on a radio yesterday and categorically indicated that the former president is in bed with some Al-Qaeda individuals and they are planning to stage a coup in this country. And I think that is also a worrying statement. And such persons should also be picked up. But if the media, how do you call it, the police, decide that what happened yesterday, the example I've just given, if they are not going to pick the person up, then clearly they'll create an impression that they are selecting who to arrest and who not to arrest. And this does not augur well for us. What it does is that it does not put or does not build strength and faith in that in the institution. And see, when Oliver was picked up, the manner in which he was picked up, he being denied access to his lawyers for about 24 hours or so, he being put in detention for over 48 hours, charges being changed today, tomorrow, and then now going to the wrong courts. I mean, it is more of the police suggesting to us, per their conduct, that they themselves are just not even ready and they don't even know.
Right.
And it doesn't augur well.
On that very point, lawyer Martin Pebu said, and I quote, "The police is destroying the Constitution." And again, the police was engaged in a comedy of errors. That is what he says. Well, let's wrap with the Daily Graphic. 4 Ghanaians convicted in the UK of drug trafficking. Details on page 20, and on the back page, violence at Lamashegu. Police interdict 6 officers, calm returns. Let's check out some more papers, Manuel.
So the Daily Statesman, Kingsley Nyako exposes Okudeto on tax exemption bill with a picture of the Kwadaso MP, Kingsley Nyako. Kufuor's lawyer defends alleged coup plotter. And that tells his story, really, Ben, about how the man who defended President Kufuor in the
election petition 2020,
the man for whose sake President Kufuor most probably is still in office, is now defending another man who is alleged
to be plotting against the person.
Exactly. And this tells a fascinating story, really, the irony of the situation. But that's what you have. Lawyer Akoto Ampao defending Oliver Baka-Vormawor. You are fantastically corrupt, MP tells journalist Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Tamale Central MP, alleging, I don't know what he's referring to anyways, but the special prosecutor, Kisie Jabin, is probing 45 cases on the front page of a Daily Statement. And more information is that he says 3 of these cases will be brought to the court very soon. We're looking forward to those cases. The Graphic Business says recapitalization blues, errant insurers seek cover as the NIC engages defaulters. Tough times ahead as inflation rises sharply, economists predict. And SNIT to reduce stake in unlisted firms, 30.76% to 4% in the next 6 years. Deloitte maintains sport as most valuable brand, and German government to support 60 Ghanaian SMEs. I'll wrap up with the Finder newspaper. A Piazzi explosion. Male victims complain of sexual weakness. This according to a psychologist who's on ground, assessing the victims like survivors. And minority leader demands full-scale investigation into Lamashegu shooting, and KGB hands over Agenda 111 project sites to contractor. You have E-Levy, 3 key things government must do, and these key things of 3 key things are coming from Occupy Ghana. It comes with a picture of Ace, Anan, and Koma. President Kufuor reappoints. Well, I don't think that the entity is being dissolved. It's not.
No. I mean, it's been a while since I.
Yes, and now you've heard them. So, yeah, they are proposing 3 key things that.
When I saw the bit yesterday, I was taken aback a bit because I was wondering. Oh wow, I thought, but then again, there they are.
Anyways, and Police Administration interdicts 6 officers. This story brought to you yesterday on the Lamashegu incidents all the way in Tamale. So by way of the newspapers that I have, that's your headline.
Let me wrap with the few I have left. Daily Guide, quad grills up to SCN, and that case not going anywhere. Residents applaud IGP for fighting land guards. And on page 5, thousands protest against Tunisian president's new powers over judiciary. looks like this is becoming problematic in different places. The Ghanaian Times, we're ready to contribute to resolution of economic challenges. That's according to former President Mahama. And this one on page 3, more accidents. 2 policemen, 4 others killed in gory accident on Esikuma Peki-Peve Highway. Those are the major stories in there. The BNFT, weak manufacturing sector will affect gains and after. That's according to the World Bank. And data of 3 more state institutions to be linked with Ghana card. The Economy Times is the final paper. Banks close tap for lending and inflation returns to target band 4th quarter. Moult and Bokkin, others react to Akufo-Addo's disposition against rating agencies. All of those stories in the Economy Times. But Emmanuel Wilson, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Still with you.
You have an interesting bit. I'd just like you to share it with all of us. In recent days, Saturday to be specific, a few things have happened. Share with us why you feel threatened, why you're afraid for your life, and all of that. Give us details.
Okay, so just like all of you are aware, after the budget statements was read, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana issued a statement. That was the first of many statements that we have done on the E-Levy. And we have clearly stated our position on the E-Levy, that it is not the way to go for us as a nation. And what we need is the prudent management of the national budget, how do you call it, the national resources, and for us to have fiscal discipline. If we're able to have these two, there wouldn't be any need for us to introduce any other tax, not to even talk of E-Levy, which comes with its own problems. And so these past weeks, we've been very consistent on it. Unfortunately, just this Saturday, on my way to Eastern region for a function, I got a call. And the number wasn't registered. So it was actually an unknown number. And when this call came, I picked it up whilst on my way. The person mentioned my name. It sounded like a male's voice, but the voice was kind of undertone, kind of a person speaking for you not to really identify the voice, but it sounded more of a male's voice. There's a person who called and said, Emmanuel Wilson. I said, yes, sir. Then the person went straight to it and said that, look, if you value, no, he actually said, let me give you an advice. If you value your life, if you want your life, if you love your life, make sure you don't walk alone. And then he quickly hung up. And it got me thinking. It really got me thinking. When I got to my destination, I tried reaching some of the security friends that I have, persons in the security institution. And what is even amazing is the fact that right after the call, even though the number came unregistered or unknown, the unknown indication even vanished from my call log. So I couldn't even have it on my phone as a call that has come in. But when I made an inquiry from some of my some of my security personnel or friends, they told me that there is an app, or yes, that can be done. And so right from Saturday.
So this person obviously did not want to be identified in any way, but the person merely called to caution you.
That's exactly what happened. I wouldn't want to define it as a caution. I wouldn't want to define it as a threat, but whatever it is a communication that has come to me. And looking at happenings in recent times, it tells me strongly that I need to be watching my back. But obviously, this is not the kind of country we want to build or we want to have. Right from Sunday till today, I have reported that maximum of 7 p.m. I should be home. Even if I have engagement to attend in the evening, I've decided that till I get to the root of this matter or till I see that my nerves are calm, I am going to ensure that I am home latest by 7 p.m. But I don't think this is the kind of country we want to build. Coming at the back of recent happenings, such as where we have some of your media persons being arrested for very frivolous reasons, very frivolous grounds, and the way and manner in which these arrests are even taking place, reasons being given to us and all that. It is a clear indication. So you are not
a media person. You are not a media person. Maybe you are politically exposed in a way, but Why do you feel you're being targeted, and why? Why exactly? I mean, what have you done?
So in this recent times, it is clear that there's no, I mean, if you are talking of CSOs in this country that have been so strong against this E-Levy, and you should assemble about 3, I'm sure Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana will be one among the 3. I am very confident that whatever the intention of the one who called is, it really has to do with the fact that we have taken a strong stance against the electronic
But how can you be so sure? I mean, that's a wide accusation. How can you be so sure?
Well, so as I indicated, aside that, it is difficult for us to put our hand on any other reason. But as I said clearly earlier on, whoever is behind it or whichever persons are behind it, they will be the right individuals to be able to tell us. But from where we sit,
right before we take leave of you, so why have you still not reported the incident to the police? I mean, that's the first move. That's the most important thing.
Yes. So yesterday in the evening, a report was done. Indeed, this report was done after an advice came from one officer, a superior officer in the Ghana police, whom I had a conversation with, and he told me to go and then have this report officially done. And so it was actually done yesterday in the evening. But let me also add that this is actually not the first time I'm having such a threat, or I'm having such a confrontation. Somewhere 3 or so years ago, a similar thing happened, and then I registered it at the Adenta police station, because then that was where I was residing. And so yes, we are being careful, we are watching our back, but all I have to say is that this is not the best way for us to go as a nation, and we all need to condemn it.
Emmanuel Wilson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. He is, of course, the chief crusader for Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana, and he joined us for the news review. 30 seconds. I know you have a take. Very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Yes, I think that at this point, we'll have to be careful. And I struggle to...
Are you cringing?
I struggle to articulate the words that living in Ghana in 2022, we have to tell ourselves that you have to be careful. Well, I don't know the content of whichever situation that Emmanuel Wilson is having, but if he's had cause to feel the way he feels currently, I don't think that there's anything that anybody needs to be amused about.
Well, a very happy birthday to Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndum, president of Group Ndum. It's from Max Fuga on behalf of all the alumni of GN. You turned 69 today. Happy birthday, sir, and the very best to you. That's how we draw the curtains. But coming up next, we have sports. And after that, the big stories. Do stay with us.